Hi, Intermediate Algebra. This is example number 2 for solving equations by the quadratic formula. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, solving by the quadratic formula means that you have to have the equation set equal to 0, and you can't have any like products or anything that needs to be simplified here, okay? So whether you have one term, two terms, or three terms, they have to be distinct terms. There can't be like products or very stuff that needs to be simplified. So when I look at this equation that I'm going to solve, it's in the wrong format. By the way, just in case anybody's thinking of other techniques, this would not be the factoring technique because it's not set equal to 0. Okay, so it's also not the factoring technique if that's crossing your mind. For me to use a quadratic formula, I then have to simplify this. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that. I'm going to distribute the x. And then I have to have this set equal to 0, so I have to move the 22 to the other side. Now this is in the correct format to do the quadratic formula. I just have to identify my a, b, and c. So if there's nothing in front of the x, right, that would be the a. So a is positive 1. B is negative 4. Again, make sure you take your positives and negatives when you figure out a, b, and c. C is 22. Okay, those are the numbers for this round. Let's give it a go. Let's plug them in. So negative 4. Notice that I square all of negative 4 here. The squaring goes on the entire thing, so it has to be in parentheses to include the negative. We are in complex numbers here for the rest of chapter 10, so you may have some answers that have an I in it, and that's just fine. Do not write no solution for any of these. Okay, we're in the complex system in this chapter. In the front here we have a double negative, so I'm going to make that positive. Here we're squaring the 4 and the negative, so that becomes positive 16. I'm going to show you the way I did it before. I do the plus or minus first. So you've got a negative times a positive times a positive. So overall that's negative in terms of the sign. And then 4 times 1 is 4 times 22 is 88. All over 2. Again, you want to keep it this radical until it's done. So I'll do the 16 minus the 88. That's going to give me a negative 72. As I just mentioned, we are in complex numbers, so you want to keep going with this problem. You want to think about what is the biggest perfect square in 72. You also want to identify that there's a negative 1 under the radical. I'm going to suggest you break it down like this so you can see all the components. The first important thing is that there's a radical negative 1, which is I, right? That's the definition of I. 36 is a perfect square, and then so this will come out, and this 2 doesn't have a partner. So just let me write that out in little detail to make sure everybody's fine. The negative 1 under the radical comes out as an I. The 36 under the radical comes out as a 6. The 2 doesn't have a partner, so it stays under. Let me move this to another page here. Okay. So what happened here I have a tendency to pull the i's in front. Sometimes people will put them in the back. That's fine. Just do not put the I under the radical. That's wrong, because the I itself is a radical. So again, I have a tendency to pull them towards the front, and that prevents students from incorrectly writing them. So the I came out, the 6 is out, the 2 is left under, so we have this. Your final answer must be in lowest form, and right now this is not in lowest form because all 3 of these terms have a 2 in common. So you need to reduce that. So I'm going to factor out a 2. Which allows me then to reduce the 2 which leaves me with a final answer of 2 plus or minus 3i radical 2, which again is 2 answers. That's 2 plus 3i radical 2, and that is 2 minus 3i radical 2. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll be back with another example. I'm going to end this video here. Catch you again soon. Bye-bye.